Prayer changes the prayer, the one who prays. Desire changes us. When you desire something to change, the change begins in you. Desire is life. Desire begins all the change and growth in you. God loves you wanting things. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Hunger is a gift. Hunger is how every good thing comes to be. It's a lot easier to not want something, right? Because then you don't have to be disappointed. Lower your expectations, they say. Then you don't have to feel the pain of disappointment. But that is the end. That is the end of all things, avoiding disappointment. Desire is life. Psalm 37:4 says, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. He puts that spark of desire in you. I remember when I was taking care of my elderly grandmother near the end of her life. Her desire kept her alive. Her desires were very, very simple. They became the desire for an afternoon tea and a Thursday trip out to breakfast. And every morning she'd wake up, is it Thursday? Is it Thursday? And then she'd wait as her day went on for a cup of tea. And I remember we had someone come to the house, a caregiver, and they said to us, allow her to want that cup of tea and go get that cup of tea for herself. Don't serve her every single thing, because that gets her up and out. The desire for tea makes her move, makes her alive, makes her stay living. That's how desire is for all of us. What are you desiring? What are you praying for? Not something you have to try to desire. Maybe you don't want world peace. Maybe that's not a thing that's really ever occurred to you, but you do want your children speaking to each other. Maybe you do want your children to thrive. Maybe that's an ache or a burning in your heart that you have. I want a Young Chang rosewood stained baby grand piano in my living room. That's a desire that I have. I've had a lot of pianos, a lot of lesser pianos than that. I've had a long time to decide what I desire in a piano. And now I know what I want. That desire, it gives me clarity. It gives me my future. It gives me something to look forward to. Desire is not wrong, and sometimes it can hurt. Sometimes it hurts, like when you want something so bad that it hurts, which can, as an adult, usually turns into things that we want for our children, or things that we want for our world, things that we want for our community. And right now we're really seeking and praying for peace. Peace in our government, peace in other countries, peace in the Middle East. Why pray? Well, prayer can sometimes be a cop-out. We just throw it up to God, let him sort it out. That's not desire. That's bypassing. That's passing the buck. Why pray? Because when you talk to someone, you get to know them. When you pray to God, the point is to get to know him. Just like a commander knows what you need to go to war, Jesus knows what you need to bring peace. He's the Prince of Peace. Why talk to him about peace? Because he knows a thing or two. He has an arsenal for it. He knows how to strengthen you for it. He's got a boot camp for it. He knows how to bring it to you. Cuddle up to the Prince of Peace. Get to know the Commander-in-Chief, the Commander in Peace. The fruit comes by cuddling up, abiding on the vine. Jesus is the vine, we are the branches. The fruit that comes off of that is peace, and that just comes by clinging to the vine, by abiding, by hanging out, by cuddling up to the Prince of Peace. That's just the outcome. The fruit is the outcome of a life of hanging out with the Prince of Peace. It's not passive, and it's not necessarily easy. Very often there is something that we need to change. That desire that we have, that we are given that as a gift. We might be the only people in the world that are longing for this thing for our children or for our world. And that desire given to us is a call. It's a call up. And there might be something in it for us. We might have to get brave and speak. We might be called to admit to something that we've done wrong in the past. We might be called to give something up that we really, really like, or we might be called to step out of our comfort zone because of the desire that we have. If you want to know about God and what he cares about with peace, what do we know about him? What do we know about his personality? Well, here's just one thing we can talk to. This is going to get a little bit rough here. You ready? So this is your commander in peace talking. Isaiah 58, King James Version. He says to the prophet, to the speaker, which could be you, could be me right now, cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. Oh, they seek me daily, and they delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, as if they were a nation that forsook not the ordinance of their God. They ask of me the ordinance of justice. They take delight in approaching to God. That means they're doing the things that they think they're supposed to do. They're going to church. And in this passage here, he's going to talk about how they're fasting in order to seek him and to know him. They're doing their fasting, and that's a ritual that they did Now our rituals are more like going to church on a Sunday morning and turning off the lights and worshiping with loud music for 45 minutes, sacrifice of praise, raising up our worship to God. That's our ritual that we do these days. And then the people say, where have we fasted and you don't see us? Where have we afflicted our soul and thou takest no knowledge? You're not hearing us. Behold, in the day of your fast, he says, you find pleasure and exact all your labors. Meaning you're going through the motions, but it's not costing you anything. Behold, you fast for strife and debate and to smite with the fist of wickedness. You're fighting each other. You're fighting other people. That's your fasting. Ye shall not fast as you do this day to make your voice be heard to me, not this way. Is that such a fast that I have chosen? A day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Wilt thou call this a fast, an acceptable day to the Lord? Now listen. Verse 6, is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke. Is it not to deal your bread to the hungry, and that you bring the poor that are cast out to thy house? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and that you hide not yourself from your own flesh, family members you can't get along with. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and your health shall spring forth speedily. We're crying out to God for our health. Heal me, heal me, heal me by singing. I'm going to worship. I'm going to praise. And he's saying, that's not what I've chosen. That's not the fast that I have chosen. I have a very specific fast. This is how your commander-in-chief, your commander in peace, wants to bring peace to his people. And your righteousness will go before you when you do these things, and the glory of the Lord will be your reward. You will call then, and the Lord will answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, here I am. If you take away from the midst of you the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity. The yoke. Have we ever put the yoke on people? Ever? In our lifetime, have we ever enslaved people? Have we ever controlled them? Have we ever made them do what we want them to do? Have we ever made their burdens heavier? Jesus said, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Come unto me, know me, I am meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. And that's not the yoke that people are sometimes putting on other people. And if you will draw out your soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. Your darkness will go away, and it will be light. And the Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your soul when there's drought, and make fat thy bones, and you'll be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not. And you will build up the walls, and you will be a restorer of the paths and of the breaches. When you're restoring the breaches, restoring the paths, restoring the walls, you're a peacemaker. you want to be a peacemaker? Do we have a desire to bring peace to our world, to our communities, to our family, between our children? Do we want to be a peacemaker? Is that desire something that God's put into your heart? Well, when you cuddle up to the Prince of Peace, the Commander-in-Chief of Peace, you can just read what he cares about and see what he says. And I'm just going to tell you, you look around a lot of churches and a lot of rituals that are going on, and it was never anything that's not what the commander asked for. So you can do what you want. I'm sure that it's not a problem. But if you're not doing the things that he did command, that he did suggest for peace, then all of those things are wasted. I'm not saying we won't ever have a beautiful worship program come out of a time of absolute euphoria and joy from having seen the light. I mean, we've got our darkness turning into noonday. We've got our soul being fed. Sure, we're going to sing. Sure, we're going to put on our programs. Sure, there's going to be results of that. But we don't have to sit here beating ourselves up, crying out to our God, begging him to help us with our worship programs when he has a very different plan right here for us, the Prince of Peace, the Commander-in-Chief. We long for peace around the world. We long for peace around each other. But are we willing to do the things that the Commander-in-Peace says to do, to bring those? Isaiah 9:6, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Do you know him? Do you know what he might be calling you to do or change or be or grow in? Allow the desire for peace in your life and in your family and in your world to do that deep change in you.